they're wonderful volunteers in UN, and we are so grateful for all of the organizations. So let's give a round of applause to those. In order for the Calgary Leadership Forum to keep rolling on, we ask at these events if anybody can give a donation. And so we appreciate whatever you can give. $2, $5, even $100. If you give $100, you get to have Thanksgiving dinner with Brian Lee. Absolutely. So we thank you all for participating. This is an investment in our democratic process and in creating opportunities for our candidates to hear your voice, and we'll hear that through the questions that you're going to be answering. We want to know your concerns and your priorities. It hopefully will create dialogue between candidates and our citizens. It also gives our organization the incentive and encouragement to continue on. So we have some volunteers that are going to be collecting donations, and if you give $20, you get a hug and a membership in the Calgary Leadership Forum. Thanks so much.
All right, so we're just going to take a 2-minute break. If you want to turn any final questions while the hat is being passed, feel free. And we'll be back. The question panel, you have 2 minutes to finalize your top 10 questions, and we'll get through as many as we can, so 2 minutes, folks. Kerby, how are we doing? Just about ready? All right. Well, welcome back, everybody. I do want to acknowledge that we have a former member of City Council in our midst, Alderman Glenn Johnson. I think about 20 years, so let's give Glenn a round of applause. I consider myself a member of that former club. Do you have any other former members? All right. Okay. Good to know. So, I want to make a comment here. When I was in City Council, you could ask as many questions as you wanted during debate, but then when it came time for debate, you had 5 minutes. So everything that needed to be done could be done in 5 minutes. When I was in the Alberta legislature, you could ask as many questions as you wanted. When it came time to debate, you had 30 minutes. What I noticed is you could say in 5 minutes what you needed to say, what you could say in 30. And I do know that you can answer in 1 minute what you could take 30 minutes. So that's why we have a 1 minute limit on these questions. Keep that in mind. So here's the way it's going to work. Our timer, Marilyn Wilson, is going to simply stand and hold up the red card at 1 minute, at which time, we'll take the blue one away there as well, just the red one, thank you very much. She's going to hold the red one, at which time you will shower the candidates with applause. But I think they want to know as well. Thank you very much. Let's give her a round of applause for this wonderful. Keep in mind, this is a forum. We didn't come here to quench your thirst. We came here to whet your appetite about the importance of these policy issues. And Terry, you have the questions. All right. Thank you, sir. Okay. And the way we're going to do this is we'll let you answer the first question, and you can answer the second one first, you can answer the third one first, and just pass the microphone down. How does that sound? All right. What do you think is the biggest issue facing the City of Calgary in the next 4 years?
The biggest issue, I have 3 things I'm talking about. The biggest one is really about crafting a more resilient economy. Although we are in a fragile economic recovery, the economists tell us the recession ended 6 months ago, but I'm not sure we're really feeling that yet. And what we need to do is make sure that we have shock absorbers in our economy to ensure that we're resilient and we can work our way through the business cycles in a better way. And that really means selling Calgary abroad. We talked about Amazon, that's a big fish, but there are lots and lots of small fish as well that we need to be able to continue to go after. We also need to encourage entrepreneurship and innovation among Calgarians. We need to support local and small business in order to help them grow, as well as continuing to build infrastructure while construction costs are low and people are out of work. I keep saying if you've been cursing me because of all the construction on the roads this summer, guilty as charged. It's very deliberate because we're building things we need at a time when prices are low and people are out of work. And that should act as a stimulus for more private sector job growth.
So by the time we get to the end, all the questions will be answered. So I believe that the next 4 years, we have to move forward cautiously. Cautious optimism is the way I would put it. I think it's good to invest in infrastructure and into projects for the city, but not if it causes uneconomic burdens to Calgarians. If we invest in infrastructure that ultimately results in cost savings, I think that's worthwhile investment. Return on investment is important. We want to make sure that we use evidence-based decision-making when we invest in infrastructure that will have the highest potential return on that investment. And we need to make sure that our development is sustainable and not just ad hoc development that ends up adding additional costs to the city. It's one thing to talk about reducing the cost of the city, but one of the biggest drivers to costs of the city is unsustainable development. We have a lot of monolithic communities built in the past. We need to look at amending the Municipal Government Act and our Municipal Development Plan.
It's the economy, it's the economy, it's the economy, right? In the words of James Carville, it's the economy, right? So, I believe that Calgarians know this. Calgarians are not duped by their representatives, and I believe that they know that they're struggling. And I believe that, Calgarians don't like being insulted by a city hall that wastes their money during an economic crisis. So Calgarians care about the economy, and they care about a city hall that respects its money in the economy. Thank you.
economy is a big word, and everybody up here is probably going to use the word a lot tonight, because it is a buzzword. But the fact is we just need to lower what it costs you to get by in the city. And if we're talking about spending city dollars on more infrastructure and things like that, yeah, there's a benefit to that, but there's also a cost to that. That it's going to cost you more. So we have to start thinking about taxation a lot more thoroughly. We start to have to think more about how the city spends its money so that you pay less and that I pay less, and so that I can afford to do more things with my family and that you can afford to do more things with your family. So if we start to think about taxation, levies, fees, look at your NMAX bill and tell me about all, not just the increase in water, all that stuff, it's the 14 other charges that you have on there that drive me crazy. So those are the things that we need to, sorry, no applause, I only have 1 minute. So, but the bottom line is we need to start looking at those things to say, hey, you're paying too much, we're paying too much, we've got to start cutting that back.
You know, we've had a significant, dramatic change in our economy over the last few years. And we need, going forward for the next 4 years, strong collaborative leadership so that we can get things done at City Hall, and we need fiscal responsibility. I'm not sure what happened to you. You ran as a fiscal conservative originally, and all I've heard from small business owners is the pain that they've had with the increase in taxes over the last 7 years, up to 80 to 100%. So we need safe and vibrant communities. We need fiscal responsibility, but we have to make those priorities in the best interest of Calgarians. Then, maybe then, we'll start attracting business here.
The next 4 years are kind of scary because even though we had a tax break, and this is from Bill Smith's notes, there's a freeze of taxes from the reserves, so we use reserves for that tax break. And there's a tax increase waiting for us in 2018. So don't buy everything that this politician is saying. And for us, even crime is going in a direction that is making it unsafe for so many people. Just in the first half alone, there's been 3,000 cars been stolen. Sex trafficking has increased every year since Nenshi took office. That is a very serious issue. Servants Anonymous, this is quoting Servants Anonymous, that there's around 3,000 people being forced into sex trafficking. That's a huge number. There are 3,500 homeless people, and that's the same number as when Nenshi took over. So we need to start investing more in our people. The people make what make Calgary. People make everything. We have to, put infrastructure on the back burner a bit here and start investing in what Calgary truly is about. It's about the people, about the life here, and they're not being served. It's the most unlivable place for the low profit or low income earners, and we need to start serving those because it's costing us $3 billion a year, and that's Nenshi's own studies through Enough for All to maintain poverty. So think about that.
Well, I come to you from the management board, so I speak different language than the politician. There are three main things that we have to focus on. Economy, of course, service, and flood. But that's slogan so far. But as you heard in my speech, economy, how are we going to fix the problem of economy? We have outdated rules in the city. Bylaws has to be changed. As an expert manager, I know how to change this. Number 2, taxes. You cannot overtax people, and you have to have a balance between taxes and service. You hear politicians trying to get your vote, they say, I'm going to lower your taxes. That's stupid. You have to speak about taxes and service in the same time. But they just slogan, empty slogan. So the 3 main things are economy, of course, because with money we can solve lots of problems. Number 2, service. You cannot cut service. It's very important. Number 3, subject nobody talk about is flood. There is no protection for our city. The spring bank, we have to talk about it if this is the real protection for our city. None of those people here sitting knows anything about flood, and you can build any kind of project and the flood come and wipe it off.